Hello, Pauper fans. This is Mathonical, and thank you very much for joining me. We're going to be going through some Rally Gone stuff today. I want to start off with an apology. I know a bunch of people were hoping that I was going to do a series on the Pauper Challenge that I was in about a month ago with this deck. Unfortunately, I tried recording it a couple weeks ago, and due to more or less some MTGO updates, some of the recording or some of the replays were corrupted. I did spend a few hours trying to fix that and sort that out, but I was unfortunately not able to get good recordings since some of the games were not playable. So I've gone ahead and done a quick league with the same deck just to produce the content for you that I know you guys want. So hopefully this will be a good enough substitute for the challenge. With that said, we're going to go through a bit of the deck. It's been a while since we've been on this. So the main theme of Rally Gond is to have the Midnight Guard and the Presence of Gond. You want to put the Presence of Gond on the Midnight Guard, and that will of course allow you to tap the creature to make an elf, which will untap the Midnight Guard, and you can do that as many times as you want to make infinite creatures. We, of course, want to live long enough to do that, and Minus will gain infinite life where we're at it. So we're going to have the Soul Sister package with Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant. Really good against a lot of different aggressive decks, and by themselves, they can win games in certain matchups. To help protect our combo, we're going to use some Benevolent Bodyguards that will allow us to protect our creature against removal of any sort, and Prismatic Strands, which will protect us from damage-based removal. This is just a great card in general, and there are some matchups like Stompy where it can just win by itself. Since that package can be disrupted via various means, and it can be a little slow at times, we're going to combine the Soul Sister package with some token generation. That will allow us to gain additional life, additional chump blockers, and as an alternative win condition. So to that end, we're going to play the 4 Battle Screech. This is an amazing card, and can really get in the face of some other decks, and it's a ton of value on its own. 4 creatures for 1 card, amazing value. Cenn's Enlistment allows us to play additional lands and kind of helps us get around flooding. It's also just a great, continues to make creatures in the late game. And we want to turn all of that into a win, so we've got Rally the Peasants. This, of course, will give us up to +4/+0 on a single turn with 6 mana available. And this can win us many games just out of nowhere. Our opponent may not expect it. So that's most of the main deck. To help find all of these different pieces and kind of combo synergy out of the graveyard, we've got the Commune with the Gods. This has always been there, and it really helps us dig for either combo piece. It puts Battle Screeches into our graveyard, Rally the Peasants, and Prismatic Strands in the graveyard. Really just the card that holds the whole deck together. And we wanted some more of that effect, so I started playing around with Faithless Looting. I know one viewer, when I did my original series on this, did mention Faithless Looting. I'd considered it at the time, but back then, since the meta was mostly Stompy and Hexproof with a bit of Tribe and Blitz, it wasn't really a good time to put Faithless Looting in. Instead, we used to have Standard Bearers in this position. Standard Bearer can just win some games when you get it down against certain decks. Since the meta has shifted away from needing Standard Bearers as much, the spots have opened up to be able to put Faithless Lootings in, and this of course helps us really smooth out our draws, allows us to get additional value by being able to discard Prismatic Strands, Rally, Battle Screech, you name it. Also lets us dig more for the combo. But of course, to fit in the Faithless Lootings, we do need to make sure our mana base can support 3 colors. So, we kind of like fix the mana base a little bit, traded some cards around, and now we're currently sitting on a 12 red source, which should in most cases be enough. We will very reliably get our red source at least within the first few turns of the game. We're going to have 15 green sources. Of course, using the Crumbling Vestige means that we're not going to necessarily have a reliable color source from this, but it should be good enough for like a one-shot to cast either a Faithless Looting, Commune, Presence, that sort of thing. So I definitely wanted to try this out. And if it's really good, we may even want to go up to 2. We of course can reset it with our bounce lands. We've got the Garrison and the Selesnya Sanctuary. But in general, I'm quite happy with the mana base. So I'd advise you just to copy it. It's pretty hard to make changes. I do know that the Ash Barrens are a little pricey, but they're definitely coming down in price since they are going to be reprinted in Masters 25. So if you want to play this deck, maybe best to wait until after that is released. You should be able to get this card pretty cheap after that point. And that is the main deck. It's pretty sweet. Over in the sideboard, we've moved the Standard Bearers over to the sideboard from the main deck. I definitely still want that effect against certain matchups. We still have the 2 Journey and 2 O-Ring. Trim that a little bit to fit the bearers in, and we definitely wanted more Electrickeries. Elves was the deck that kind of pushed me away from playing this, and Electrickery gives us really good game against them, so we're going to up that to 3. Pyroblast is a good catch-all against blue decks that want to say no to what we're doing, so we can now say no back. And Spidersilk Armor is a great card against Boros Monarch, Kadoltha Boros, Delver strategies, that sort of thing. And there we are. That is the Rallygon deck with some Faithless Lootings. I guess I will see you all in round 1.